Hey guys, William Fletcher here from LeveledUpContractor.com, and welcome to another episode of the Leveled Up Contractor Show. Now, today's video is going to be pretty cool because I got some sample data that I pulled down from a CRM and I changed the names out and whatnot, so we got some dummy data to work with here. But what I'm going to do today is show you how you can use your CRM data and Google Sheets to quickly get some good information and reports and numbers that you can use to help you grow your business. So pretty excited about this. We're going to look at this from a job costing perspective. We're going to look at it from different sales reports and analysis you can do. We're going to look at it at some different marketing reports you can do. We're going to look at some job cycle stuff and really do some cool reports just by getting some simple data out of our CRM and then using Google Sheets to manipulate that data and quickly put together some awesome reporting without being, a Google Sheets guru or a spreadsheet guru or anything like that. So, like I said, what I have here on the screen, guys, this is just some simple sample information that you can download from your CRM. So, we have the job name, we have a sold date, we have the date the job was completed, the date the job was paid in full. We have the sales representative, the lead source that the job came from, the status of the job. We have whether the job is open or closed. We have the contract dollar amount. We have the collected dollar amount, the balance of the job, and then we have different job cost categories with dollar amounts in those. And then we have a gross profit column. So one of the first things I'm going to do for my data set here is I'm just going to enter some headers and lock those so that way when we scroll down we don't lose our titles. So if I go up here, I'm going to go to view freeze up to row 1 and we'll do view freeze up to column A. So basically now when I scroll down, you'll see my titles stay at the top, and if I wanted to scroll left to right, if I had more over here, it would lock the job name as well. It doesn't really matter for this particular set of data, but what I wanted to show you is when we get down here at the bottom, you'll see that not every job in this data set is paid and closed. So we got some jobs that are an invoice, some that are scheduled jobs, some that are waiting for final walkthroughs, some that are waiting on materials. So these are the open jobs, and you'll see that down here some of them have open balances as well. So let's start building some reports, and we'll start pretty simple. We'll just do some sales reports. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to click on this first row here that includes my headers, and I'm going to select all the way over to the right and all the way down, making sure that every bit of data here is selected. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to insert, and we are going to do a pivot table, and it's going to ask me if I want to do a new sheet or existing sheet, and I'm just going to do a new sheet here. All right, it's going to give me a blank pivot table here. Now guys, the way you want to think about pivot tables is it's quickly used to summarize data and put it in different formats for you. So for example, let's say I just wanted to create a simple sales report that shows my sales by sales rep based on the data set that I got. So all I have to do here is I can either click add here or I can drag and drop my fields. But we'll click add here for on the rows. So rows meaning down this way I want to add some values over here. So we're going to use our sales rep, and we're going to put the sales rep over there. You'll see it pulls that over. All right, and the next column I want to do is I want to sum sales. So for values, we're going to use the contract amount. Now if I plug that in, guys, you'll see that now I have my sales by sales reps, right? So pretty quickly I've summed all my sales by sales reps, and I can look at who my highest sellers are, all that kind of stuff. Now, if I wanted to, I could change the name of this. So I could call this sales. All right. Now, let's say that I wanted this same report, but now I wanted to break it out by month across here. So let's see if we can do this. So let's go to column and let's choose our sold date. In your CRM, you might call it contract date, something like that. And you'll see when I did that, it pulls across every single date that a sale was recorded, which is not what we want. So in order to group this by month, if that's what I wanted to group it by, I could right click here or control click on a Mac and go to create pivot data group, and we'll change this to month, and boom, there we go. Now we got our sales by month by sales rep. All right, so pretty cool. We quickly got that together, and it shows all of their sales every single month, and it has a grand total out here to the right. And just to clean that up a little bit, if I wanted to, I could center those just to make it look a little prettier. Now, obviously, we're not building a fancy dashboard right now, but quickly you could make your data look pretty good. Now, if we come back here, let's say now I want to see my sales by lead source. So let's go insert pivot table. This time I'm going to use an existing sheet, and we are going to put it over here on this same tab, and we're just going to put it here. So I'll click there, we'll do that, we'll click create. In my rows this time I want lead source, and for my values I want contract. And now guys, now I have my sales, my lead source. So in this example data, I can see that Home Advisor provided me the most sales, and then Google pay-per-click, and then Modernize, and then the website, and then the mailers, and then truck wraps, right? So I got that there. So quickly pulled that together. Let's say, see what else we want to do here. So let's look at our data. Let's look at our gross profit by sales rep. So we're going to insert another pivot table here. We do an existing sheet. We're just going to add it here. We'll just click on this. Let's do create. And our rows, we want sales rep. And then we want, let's see how we, let's make this a little prettier than that. Let's bring over for our values, let's do our contract amount. Then let's do our subcontractor expense. Let's add our material expense. Then let's add our miscellaneous expense. And then let's add our sales commissions. And then let's add gross profit. And we got all those there. And then let's see. Let's roll with that for now. Let's format this. So go format number, clean that up a little bit, and then we could center all that. We could say contract, say sub expense, material expense, miscellaneous, cost of goods, commissions, and gross profit. All right. Now, if I wanted to, now this is showing gross profit on all jobs, which would be a little bit skewed because not all jobs are completed. So one of the things I could do would be to add a filter to this. So if I go to here to filter, I could filter on open and closed, and I could say only show closed jobs for this report and hit OK. And you'll see now it's giving me a true gross profit on only the jobs that are paid in full and closed. So now we got that report. Let's say I wanted to run an open jobs report by my sales rep. So this is looking at all this data, and now this is all kind of year-end data, so it has a full year's worth of stuff, and then it just has a small amount of open jobs left at the end of the year. But let's run that. So let's go insert pivot table, existing sheet. We'll add it over here. Okay. Hit create. And for our rows, let's go with sales rep. All right. Then let's do in values. We're going to do balance. So that will show me the open balance by sales rep. Then let's also do, I'll do this open and closed. I'll paste that there and have it do a count. But then we're going to filter on open and closed only by open jobs. So we'll hit OK there. So jobs balance. So what this report that we quickly put together is telling me that as a team, we have 34 open jobs for $204,000 of remaining balance to collect. So once we complete these jobs, get them invoiced and collected, we'll collect $204,000 on these jobs. I could also look at it by sales rep and say, and I really got to work with Eric, Mike, and Patrick to get their jobs closed out. Jake's got quite a bit too, so does Jason, and then Aaron's got one. All right, so I could really start to analyze that and figure out what we can do to get those done. Now, if I also wanted to see the revenue that would hit once we get these jobs completed and invoiced, I could add in my contract column to here, and I'll put it above the balance. So you'll see we have $381,000 of revenue that's going to hit and a remaining balance of $204,000. So we'll call this revenue. We'll call this balance, and let's center all that so it looks nice. So there we got a cool report. Another one that we could have done up here, actually let's edit this particular report, and let's say on this lead source report, I also wanted to know how many leads or how many sales we got from each of those lead sources as a volume number. So one thing we could do is, since we got sales there, let's go ahead and add that again, but this time we're going to do count, and there we go. So we know we had 404 sales in total for $4.498 million, and 117 jobs came from Home Advisor, 92 from Google Pay-Per-Click, but 80 from Modernize. And something that's kind of cool about this is you can see we had roughly almost the same amount of sales between these two lead sources. However, they were a 12 job difference. So what that's telling me is that Modernize in this case has a much higher average job size than our Google Pay-Per-Click number there. So for example, if I took that divided by that, that's saying on average a Google Pay-Per-Click job came out to $10,277.21, where a Modernized job, if I do the math on that one, came out to $11,715. So if I'm analyzing my lead sources, I might say, you know, let's actually put more budget towards this because the average job size is higher, right? So you could really get some good information on that. Let's look at this and see what other reports we might want to run. One thing that we could do that's pretty cool here, since we have this sold date, completion date, and job paid in full date, we could do some formulas based on those. So let's do completion days, and let's do collected days, then let's do job life cycle. So we're just going to add some columns here. We'll bold these, and what we'll do here, guys, is we'll do a little formula. So one thing that's cool is that you can subtract dates in Google Sheets to get the number of days on things. So if I want to look at how long it took me to complete a job from the time we sold it, I could simply take the date the job was completed less the sold date, and then I format that as a number, get rid of the decimals, and center that. So what this is saying, guys, is it took us 2 days to complete that job from the time we sold it. So if I look over here, it was completed on 1/4 and we sold it on 1/2, so therefore that's why we get the 2 days. Now I could do the same thing under collected days. I could say, okay, so how long did it take us from the time that we collected it from the completion date? It took us 9 days. And then if I wanted to, I could get my entire job life cycle from the time that I sold the job all the way till it was collected and paid in full. So I could take this date minus my sold date, and boom, it's 11. And notice it also should be those two added together. So now that I have that on one, I can copy that, and I'll bring this all the way down to the bottom of my closed jobs, right? Because we don't want to look at that on our open jobs until everything's closed out. And that gives me some more data that I could run some numbers off of. So if I select all our data again, and I go Insert Pivot Table, do Existing Sheet, we'll come here to the table we've been doing the whole time. We'll click there. And let's take our sales rep in the row, and let's bring over their completed days. We'll do an average on that. We'll do their collected days, do an average on that, and we'll do the job life cycle. We'll do an average on that, and then we'll add a filter here based on open and closed, and we'll say only give me closed jobs, so we'll hit OK there. And we'll just call this completed days, collected days, job cycle. Let's center those, and let's see what we got. So, on average, Aaron gets his jobs completed in 14 days, collects them on average on 13 for a total job cycle of 28. This guy gets his jobs done really quick, but takes a long time to collect them, so we'd want to look at that. Now in this sample data set, it's pretty uniform across the board. Everybody's pretty consistent. What I'd be looking for here, if it would be, does a certain sales rep take a really long time from the time he sells a job to the job is completed? So I look at that, and maybe maybe it could be a couple things. It could be he sells a job, he contracts it, and he takes forever to get in his paperwork to get it approved, or he turns in bad paperwork that takes forever to get corrected and fixed through the system. Or it could be that this one particular sales rep is selling more complex jobs, or maybe he's selling some trades that we're not good at, and that's bringing up his completed days. And then on the collected days, I could be looking at that and saying, well, this guy really does a bad job of getting back out in front of his customers to collect the money, or doing final walkthroughs. So I could look at that and really see, and then obviously I could look at the entire job life cycle and see if anybody stands out and kind of reverse engineer it from there. So, if I had one guy here that was 44 and everybody else on average is about a 27, I'd be looking at the guy that's a 44 and saying, okay, what's holding up his jobs? Is he taking forever to collect it? Is it taking forever to complete his jobs? And then I could dive into it deeper from there. So we got that, and let's see here. Let's do one last report here. Let's say, so we're going to select all our data. We're going to do insert pivot table. And let's say existing sheet. We'll come here, we'll select the spot. And we're going to put our sales reps in the rows here. And I want to look at sales commissions by sales rep. So what I'll see here is who got paid a whole lot of money based on their sales. Now if I wanted to, I could also put the contract amount in there just so I could kind of see that. Right, so he made about 10%, right? And keep in mind, some of these jobs aren't closed out. So like this guy, for example, only made $1,500 in commission on $20,000 in sales. So he's probably got some stuff that's still pending out there. Same with this guy, still got some stuff pending. But now I could quickly see how much they got paid in commissions by sales reps. So guys, some pretty cool stuff you can do with Google Sheets. Just by downloading some data from your CRM, you could quickly analyze it and put together some reports. Now, probably outside of the scope of this video, but this isn't something that I would want to build a dashboard off of, pivot tables and stuff like this. I typically use pivot tables when I just want to quickly get together a bunch of information and really, just try to be able to analyze things on the spot and just get the information I need. Now, if I'm wanting to build sustainable reports that I'm looking at over a long period of time and I want to make them look really nice, that's when I'll use like sum ifs and some different ways to create these reports, which I'll go over in some future videos. So if you guys like content like this, make sure you hit the thumbs up to let me know. Leave your comments below if you have any questions on this. And as always, if you want help implementing some of this stuff into your guys' business, make sure you head over to leveledupcontractor.com. We got a lot of training over there. You can also book a call with me, and we can put together a strategy and try to find out what we can do to help you get the information and the numbers you need in your business to help you grow. So that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.